नो साउंड मतलब मैंने बोला ही नहीं है, अभी बोलूँगा मैं। ये रन कर रहा था। ठीक है, अभी बोलूँगा। अभी सुनाई दे रहा है? सजीव, कैन यू हियर मी नाउ?
Yes, sir.
ओके, दिव्या इज जॉइनिंग। ठीक है। So this is our topic for today's class, MOS or MOSS, MOS or MIME Object Security Services. In the last class, we discussed SMIME, that is Secure MIME, and before that, we have discussed MIME, isn't it? MIME and SMIME we have discussed. These are nothing but some enhancements of the general email service, email platform, to make the communications performed through email, to make email communications more secure, more safe, okay, and to protect them from any kind of cyber attack, any kind of hacking, okay, so that the messages or attachments sent along these mails followed by this MIME or SMIME remain safe from any kind of hacking or fraudulent activity. So just like MIME is a standard over internet mail or email, and SMIME is S for security. Security MIME is it is more secure. MIME made more secure, isn't it? So SMIME provides some more advanced layer of security, advanced security measures to the MIME platform. Now, MOS or MIME Object Security Services is another implementation, another protocol or another standard which is also used for email. It is another email encryption protocol which we shall discuss now, but certain things are overall it also provides security. MOS is also an approach. It is an attempt to make mailing services, email communications secure and safe. Okay, but there are certain difficulties also in the implementation of MOS. Okay, certain difficulties are there in making it standardized for general use. So we will look into them one by one. So this is the full form. Note it: MIME Object Security Services or MOS. Now let's see. Look at the points one by one. MOS is an attempt at an email encryption protocol in accordance with MIME. Okay? So now we know what is encryption. Encryption is data coding of data, so that only the receiver can decode the message using a private key, using a key. This key is encryption. These are nothing but some mathematically generated numbers using some algorithms, mathematical algorithms or different DES, data encryption standard algorithms. Okay, so just like MIME or SMIME, MOS is also an encryption message encryption protocol or standard which goes in accordance with MIME. Okay. It is currently an internet RFC. In the last class, if you remember, I told you, before that also I told you that when something is designed, something new is designed, developed, and put to use, implemented, later if some modifications are made to that, if any developments are made to that product, then all the developments are documented in some documents which remain available in a library. Okay, these documents are called RFC, isn't it? RFC. RFC is request for comment. Request for comment. So this MOS is also an enhancement of MIME and S-MIME, and um, the modifications or the description of MOS and other uh, associated developments, other associated modifications of MOS is documented in the internet RFC. Some number is there, which is not written here in this slide. MOS is mostly cryptographically sound. Okay, MOS is cryptographically sound. Cryptography means encoding, data encryption. Now, since first we got MIME, then S-MIME, now MOS. So each one, S-MIME is more secure than MIME, isn't it? MIME is more secure than general email service, and MIME is more secure than general email service. S-MIME is even secure than MIME, and MOS is also an approach which is which is an advancement of MIME and S-MIME. So definitely it contains cryptography, okay, data encryption. But certain things in MOS are not in accordance with the standards, with the specified standards. Okay, say for example the key size or the bit size, the data size, this kind of things are not in accordance with the general cryptography standards. Okay, that's why certain difficulties are faced while implementing MOS. MOS is mostly cryptographically sound. However, the choice of symmetric encryption algorithm and key size is left unspecified. Okay. Thus, it cannot be said that MOS is in accordance with the recommendations for minimum key size. Okay. So you see, though MOS has been designed, has been modified over MIME and S-MIME to make them more safe, more to provide more security to email communications. But certain things in MOS, like the key size or data size, that should be maintained. That is not strictly maintained by MOS, by this protocol, MOS protocol or standard. So that's why that is a violation of the general encryption algorithms, cryptographic methodology. MOS implementation has a number of other problems. So I told you that since it is not in accordance with the other cryptographic standards used for mail communications over the internet, so certain problems are there in implementation. So another thing is one of that is that we have seen just now, that is it does not maintain the minimum data size, minimum key size. Okay, that is unspecified. So it may be less, or sometimes it may be less or more. It's not according to the other standards. Another complexity, another problem in implementing MOS is its size. It is big in size and more complicated. Okay, that's why implementation of MOS becomes difficult compared to the implementation of MIME and S-MIME. MOS also supports two modes of key management, X.509 and completely manual key management. This also definitely MOS is it is an attempt to provide more security or make the email services safe and secure. But due to these violations, due to unspecific key size, data size, or its overall size, these are the problems. And it also maintains, MOS also maintains two types of keys. That is, one is X.509. You need not know in detail about these keys, X.509, and completely manual key management, where other standards like other standards don't follow two key management. One is sufficient for other standards. Each MIME and SMIME, they follow one key structure, okay, for coding and decoding of data before and after communication, for encrypting or encoding and decoding the email messages. But MOS maintains or it has two key management modes. Okay? These are the two key management modes. One is X.509 and the other is the manual key management. So all this, because of all these complexities, two key management, two different keys, then its big size and complicated structure, and it is not accordance with the minimum data size, minimum key size. These things makes MOS difficult, a bit difficult in implementation. Though MOS is safe, it is an attempt, um, it is a modification of MIME and SMIME to provide more security, but because of these drawbacks, these hindrances, implementation of MOS is not very easy as compared to other mailing standards like MIME and SMIME. And that's why MOS is not very frequent, not very common, not very popular. Okay, just like MIME and SMIME. Unlike MIME and SMIME, MOS is rarely used. It is not very common mode of providing security to email messages. So this is all we need to know about MOS, MIME Object Security Services. Okay, it is, you just need to know that it is an another encrypting protocol, encrypting standard that goes in accordance with MIME, and it is safe, no doubt. It is cryptographically sound. It is well protected by using the cryptographic algorithms. It is well protected, but certain anomalies are there which do not match with MIME or SMIME. Okay? Because of that, MOS is not very popular. Its use is not very popular, and because of those hindrances, implementation of MOS becomes difficult. Okay, so that is all we need to know about MOS. Okay, now let us have a look into the different email encryption protocols that we have got till now. Certain protocols we have discussed, email encryption protocols. Let us have a brief review and comparison of them. MasterCard Visa Secure Electronic Transaction. This is the title of our Unit 5, MasterCard Visa Secure Electronic Transaction. And there we have got these standards, emailing standards like MIME, SMIME, and MOS. So,
Sir, screen is not visible.
screen it is not visible. Wait. Is it visible now? Is it visible now?
नो सर, मुझे दिख ही नहीं रहा है, ब्लैक दिख रहा है सर।
बाकी सबको, बाकी सब लोग को दिखाई दे रहा है क्या स्क्रीन?
सेम सर।
हाँ, लेकिन यहाँ तो स्क्रीन शेयर हो रहा है। अच्छा, एक काम करो तुम लोग, थोड़ा नोट ही लिख लो फिर। ओके, तुम लोग थोड़ा नोट्स लिख लो, पेन एंड पेपर निकाल के। ओके, रेडी है क्या? तुम लोग के साइड में है पेन एंड पेपर? In August 1996, MasterCard and Visa agreed to jointly develop the secure electronic transaction, secure first letter capital में लिखना, secure S capital, electronic E capital letter, transaction T capital letter. Secure electronic transaction, within brackets write the short form SET. SET within brackets specification. ब्रैकेट क्लोज करने के बाद लिखो स्पेसिफिकेशन। Then write, there is no question that electronic commerce that e-commerce or electronic commerce is going to have an enormous impact. Enormous means huge, large, big. ENORMOUS, enormous.
Pardon, sir?
Enormous. 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 Enormous मतलब tremendous, big, large or powerful. Is going to have an enormous impact on the financial services industry. Enormous impact on the financial services industry. No financial institution, after full stop, no financial institution will be left unaffected by the explosion of electronic commerce. By the explosion of electronic commerce. Next line में लिखो point number 1. 3 ही point है. Point number 1 या सिर्फ dot दे दो, bullet. Yes. Number 1, the number of payment card purchases. The number of payment card purchases made through this medium will grow as internet based online ordering systems are created. I repeat, the number of payment card purchases made through this medium will grow as internet-based online ordering systems are created. Number two, many banks are planning many banks are planning to support this new form of this new form of electronic commerce by offering by offering card authorization card authorization directly over the internet directly over the internet. Number three, point number three, the last one. Several trials several trials with electronic currency several trials with electronic currency and digital cash are already underway. Then right. Consumer payment devices. Consumer payment devices. With wait down with open networks with open networks, payment will increasingly be made payment will increasingly be made by consumer-driven devices. By consumer-driven devices. As advanced technologies become more practical, as advanced technologies become more practical and affordable, affordable, comma, the marketplace will move the marketplace will move to more convenient locations such as the home or office. More convenient locations such as the home or office. Then write next, write down role of payment systems. Role of payment systems. Hello, do you hear me? Do you hear me? Is my voice clear? Okay, we're down. Payment system and their financial institution payment system and their financial institution will play a significant role by establishing open specification by establishing open specification for payment card transaction for payment card transaction that that right in the next line, point number 1, provide for confidential transmission. Number 1, provide for confidential transmission. Number 2, authenticate the parties involved.
Sir, provide for
Confidential transmission. Provide for confidential transmission. Provide for confidential transmission. Number 2, authenticate the parties involved. Authenticate the parties involved. Number 3, ensure the integrity of payment instruction. Ensure the integrity of payment instruction for goods and services for goods and services order data, goods and services order data, and number 4, last point, authenticate the identity of the cardholder authenticate the identity of the cardholder and the merchant. Authenticate the identity of the cardholder and the merchant. Cardholder means the customer, merchant means the retailer, shopkeeper. Authenticate the identity of the cardholder and the merchant to each other. To each other. And write purpose of secure electronic transaction. Purpose, next heading, purpose of secure electronic transaction. Secure electronic transaction protocol, you may write SET in short. The secure electronic transaction within brackets SET protocol uses cryptography to cryptography to number one, provide confidentiality of information, provide confidentiality of information. Number two, ensure payment integrity, ensure payment integrity, and number three, authenticate both merchants, authenticate both merchants and cardholders. Authenticate both merchants and cardholders. Next line, right in the next line. These specification will enable this specification will enable greater payment card greater payment card acceptance with a level of security that will encourage consumers and business consumers and business to make wider use of payment card products in emerging markets. In emerging markets. Next, write down next heading, payment security. Payment security. The objectives of payment security are two. Next line. Number one, provide authentication of cardholders, merchants, number two, provide confidentiality of payment data. Number three, preserve the integrity of payment data and preserve the integrity of payment data, and number 4, define the algorithms and protocol necessary for these security services. And write 7 business requirements. Okay, let us stop here today. Just write the heading and leave 7 business requirements. Then just write one line. There are 7 business requirements. Right? Just one line. There are 7 major business requirements addressed by SET. There are 7 major business requirements addressed by SET. Okay, let us stop here today. Not much time is also left, and this will take some more time, more than 5 minutes. So let us stop here today. एक बार मैं सबका नाम चेक कर लेता हूँ. आज रूपम नहीं है, अमन. तुम लोग लीव कर सकते हो एक एक करके, मैं जिसका जिसका नाम बोलूँ. अमन, अरिंदम, दसवीधर, दिव्या, लिडेमो, सरवर, तफजुल, मोमोचा, जाहिद, अमन, लिडेमो, सरवर, जाहिद, अमन, लिडेमो, सरवर, जाहिद. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. ओके, तुम लोग भी लीव कर सकते हो अभी. अमन, अभी कैसे हो तुम? घर पहुंच गए क्या अमन? हेलो अमन, लिडेमो, मेरा आवाज़ सुनाई दे रहा है ठीक से? लिडेमो, अमन, लिडेमो,